Okay, guys, I'm going to sneak up from behind. Oh, god damn it. All right, guys, there he is. There he is. Shoot, shoot. Oh, shit. Guys, communicate. Where is he? Guys, where is he? Where is he? Fuck. Ah, I'm down. Again, I'm down. I'm down. Never mind. Forget it. Like most people these days, I decided it might be a good idea to try and make a living from Twitch streaming video games. I kept dying over and over and over. I couldn't get the coordination I needed. These people just seemed to be on a completely different level. No matter how much practice I put in, I just couldn't get good. Until I got Sheath Underwear. Their dual pouch technology separates my package, allowing for better circulation, better movement. It has upped my game tremendously. I'm now in the Call of Duty Championship Finals. Go to sheathunderwear.com, use my promo code RRBG, and save 20% to get yourself a pair of Sheath Underwear and get good. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the RRBG podcast.
Yes.
I am here at the humble abode of your parents.
Yes, I'm living with my parents for the next 6 weeks.
The champ, Ian McCall.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. I am, thank you for inviting me. I was blown away by the views here in San Clemente, California. I've never stopped here. I always drive by it, though. I always go from LA to San Diego.
Thank God most people don't stop here, because it's a quiet little sleepy surfer town, beach town, and we like it that way. Like, everyone's moving out of California. I'm like, yes, get the fuck out of here. I'm from here. You're not. Go away.
Yeah, it's that. I've been talking to a lot of the comedians out at the Comedy Store, and the ones that are staying behind. I'm like, yes, stay, don't go. Like now it's a crowded freaking pond over there
with the biggest hitters in the fucking world.
Yeah, now you have opportunity in LA. Yeah. You know what I mean? At the Comedy Store. I don't care who goes to Texas. You're not going to make any of those venues the Comedy Store. There's no way. You can't build it.
It's exactly. It doesn't. It's only there, or the places like that. Whether that's comedy or not, you have something in
historical landmarks
in the epigenetics of the building. You know, it's like the energy, the vibrations, all that stuff is real, man.
Oh yeah, and those stories you hear of the it's haunted. Yeah, there's some shit going on at the store. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you know what? I've only been there for podcasts. I haven't performed there yet. Which I wasn't. I've never been asked, and I wasn't ready. I'm very picky with what I do because I know I need to get better, and I want to focus. And I just I know when and where to go. Like the other day, I was at Vanessa Johnson's show up in LA at my buddy's pop-up kind of nightclub thing at the Whitley Hotel, and Jeff Ross was the headliner. You had some really good people. And, of course, my nightclub buddies are like, hey, yeah, Jeff, meet Ian. He's a fucking comic, too. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Eliza, come here. Meet Ian. Because, like, I know the club owners. And I know, like, the supermodels and the famous douchebags. Because, like, those are the people I always hang out with. Yeah. They're my douchebags. And they are. It's just the people I came up with. And, like, it's weird. But I look at my friends and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shush, don't be disrespectful. Like, why not? But you could do it. I'm like, of course I could do 10 minutes up there. Yeah. But even if you think it's funny, you're my friend, and that doesn't matter. I won't think it's funny. And, I don't ever mean to say anything bad about Brendan Schaub. Like, we're not really friends, but, we talk a little bit. People shit on him a lot. And they do. And whatever. Whether you think he's funny or not, doesn't matter. I'm just talking about, I don't want that to happen to me.
Right.
He was a good example of a lesson learned of what not to do.
Yeah.
And for me, he's made millions. I don't want to put any negative spin on this because the guy's killing it.
He's got a popular show that people watch.
Yes, but I appreciate the art so much. I like to make things really pretty, just like my fighting. Brendan's fighting, he was just a fighter. I was a world champion. There's a big fucking difference. And I am a perfectionist. And I don't want to be involved with something like if I'm not doing my best or I feel like I'm not giving my best to everybody else. I don't want people to go, oh, hey, check this out. He's only been doing comedy for 4 years. Pretty cool, right? I want them to be like, holy fuck, this guy's only been doing this for 4 years. You know,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And again, I have a different sort of work ethic and mindset than most, I guess. But again, Brendan, like, he's killing it.
Yeah, he's killing it.
So whatever he's doing is working. It's just, I've used him as a good learning lesson. You know,
Well, yeah, that's how it is, man. And people shouldn't look at it negatively either. It's like that happens in every industry. You know, you look at the people that came before you, and you grow from them. You know,
myself. Yeah. I am the exact example for young fighters, and I tell them that all the time. I was like, the one time I got sober, I became world champion. From 14 to 34. Big example. Don't do a lot of the shit that I did. You know, and it's
exactly, man. I try to have that conversation with my little sister because I grew up with her. I raised her until like the age of 4, and then I had to like move away, do the band thing, and you know, I went away. And
what kind of band?
Huh?
Oh, you like hardcore metal, right?
Yeah. It was like a progressive metal thing. Okay. But yeah, we would have to go on tour and whatever, and I try and warn her. It's like I see her online like smoking weed and doing mushrooms, but I'm like, you're young still. Like, good that you're experimenting with that. I've always encouraged that too. I'm like, smoke some weed with me though.
Yes.
Let me show you the way.
Harm prevention. Like, I teach harm prevention for psychedelics.
Yeah.
And
super important.
It is. And I tell people, I'm like, look, I've seen people lose their shit.
Yeah.
I've whether it's having to hold someone down or people being permanently fucked up. Like, I've seen it, and you have to be careful. Even with weed, I had a good buddy come over the other day, and I was like, well, yo, you look bad. I haven't seen you in a few years. What the fuck? Obviously, I had people come to me because I'm an integration coach. Mm-hmm. People know I know healing techniques, and I fix myself, and I was the worst. So they come to me for help. It's not like I'm a therapist, but kind of. Even in those douchebags in Hollywood, this guy's got cancer, this guy's girlfriend cheated on him, this guy's gay and he's just trying to figure it out. They all come to me with their issues. But, I like being that person. It's being able to share people the tools that I use to get better is kind of, if I didn't do that, I would be a bad person. Yeah.
I mean, it's what you grow up with too, depending on how you grow up. A lot of people grow up, either thinking just about themselves and trying to, make their way to the very, very top, and that's it, and that's your life.
That was me for a while.
For a while. But you end up growing, right? Yes. You grew in a positive way, because some people get lost, obviously, and it sucks to see it. Like, I have had friends that, took too much acid and ended up in Hawaii and homeless. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad decisions that take you there. I've ended up homeless.
Yeah, I've been living out of my car before. That was, fresh out of rehab, living out of my car. Or no, before I went into rehab, I was in my car. Yeah. That was not good, And those choices, what leads you there. I mean, the DEA raided my house when I was in the UFC, when I was the best in the world.
Jeez.
I mean, granted, I wasn't doing anything illegal anymore, but it still happened. Like, I've made enough bad choices. I was still hanging around with the wrong people. Yeah. I still have those people in my house all the time. That's not a good look when you're, a famous world champion fighter and you got fucking drug dealers at your house all the time. It's not good for you. It's not good for anything I needed to accomplish in the first place. So, I just like you're telling with your sister, like, you have to learn to teach these young individuals, like, look, you can do whatever you want, but I am older than you. I know a little bit of stuff, so please just listen. And I don't mean to put you down as you're stupid because you're a kid, but you're a fucking moron.
I got called a boomer a couple times.
A boomer?
A boomer. I've been called a boomer a couple times.
How old are you?
I'm 39. I'm almost 40. Like, I'm not a boomer, I guess.
What is the boomer age?
It's got to be like 50s, right? Isn't it? Like, my parents are boomers, baby boomers. That's the whole thing, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, I don't. But it's that whole thing. The culture is speeding up. The internet is running the joint. Like, dude, are you paying attention to this Dogecoin thing?
What? No. Dogecoin? What is that?
Okay, so somebody created
Deutsch?
Doge.
Doge.
It's a dog. It's a meme where it's a fat dog, and they just call him Doge because he looks doughy, whatever.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't know.
Okay, it's a cryptocurrency that someone created as a joke.
Yeah.
It was worth 1 penny. Right?
Okay.
It was a joke. Elon Musk decided to tweet about it, and it just went poof. Like, it's now I think at 45 cents the last time I checked.
Beautiful.
I bought 800 of those coins.
Yeah.
Because it was a penny. It ended up being like $30.
Yeah.
I threw $30 at it.
Yeah.
I now have $300 sitting in my bank account. I'm like, wait a minute. If I leave it there, if it goes to $1, which is not unrealistic at the rate it's going.
Not at all.
You know how much money people are making right now just from the internet, from a meme? The internet is running the world right now.
Dude, it's crazy. It's so fucking crazy. And I just see that sort of stuff happening. And I had someone hit me up about cryptocurrency the other day, like, oh, when we work with you and I can be your guy and I send you daily, updates about crypto. And I was like, nope. He's like,
no.
Why? And I'm like, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is have another fucking hobby. I just picked up comedy as a hobby.
Yeah.
And I mean, this, sure, it's not a hobby. I'm doing it every single day, pretty much. I'm working my ass off, but that's what I do with hobbies. I get obsessive. Like, psychedelics. That was a good hobby for a long time. Now I'm a world-renowned fucking scientific researcher because I work my ass off at stuff, and it's weird. I get obsessive about a lot, like not a lot. I get obsessive about basically 3 things: science, fighting, and now comedy.
Well, I think you've managed to get a grip on something that you have in yourself that a lot of people don't have that grip. A lot of people see it as anxiety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, I feel weird. Like I'm tired all the time. Like, yeah, it's because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you were doing your life, if you figured out who you want to be and you're trying to help other people and you're trying to grow, you shouldn't be riddled with anxiety all the time. Like you should be happy you're accomplishing your goals and doing things. So I always encourage that. And I know a lot of people frown upon, I have a lot of Cuban friends that just give me shit like, oh, you're a fucking drug addict. It's like, okay, whatever you want to call it, man. Yeah. I just believe that there's a reason certain states are pushing to legalize psychedelic mushrooms.
Yes.
And I've discovered that reason when I tried it myself. I'm like, oh, there's stuff here.
Yes.
We should be exploring this. What are we doing? And a lot of people just shun it. They're like, nope, that's the devil. That's that's illegal. You're a drug addict. You're a delinquente. Is what they call it.
Especially coming from me, I was a drug addict. I was addicted, for 20 years, 14 to 34 to painkillers. Sure, I was a star athlete the whole time, but I was a fucking mess. I was on not just opiates. I was on a bunch of stuff. Basically, whatever I get my hands on drug wise as well. It was a constant party. Heroin, fentanyl, fucking.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was really gnarly. It was really gnarly. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Well, did you
psychedelics?
Yeah, the psychedelics. You once you start falling into mushrooms and falling into LSD, you start to see. At least I did. I don't know. Maybe that's my experience. I've noticed that you kind of break things down a little bit easier and understand what they are.
Yes.
And you can start trying to reconstruct things. So one of the things I took interest with, the McCall method is that it was helping fighters that were suffering from CTE and stuff like that. So can you explain that to me? Because that's super interesting. I feel like I need it because I'm sure I have CTE of numerous stage dives, fights, all kinds of shit.
It
so
happens.
I'm like, I've taken, whenever I'm on mushrooms, I feel like I'm in control of my brain.
Yes, and you are. So what's happening is you're having a process called epigenetic neurogenesis. You're trying to create things like BDNF and glutamate in your brain-derived neurotrophic factor peptides, or certain molecules, and that actually heals your brain. Now, with a big dose, you're not going to have as much of the neurogenesis, but you're going to have fighting addiction, fighting trauma, because again, back to the anxiety, that's trauma. That's more childhood trauma that will manifest itself as agoraphobia, addiction. This is a crazy story that I like to tell. I think maybe I said earlier, but take 2 brains, okay, and this will make you think about brain damage in a whole different way. Brain on the right is a grown up. Okay, it's you lived a good life. You're happy. You go out there and you do a stage dive. You whack your head. It changes your life forever. You get a TBI. Right. I can see the brain damage in these scans. This one over here, they look exactly the same. But this one's a child. That child has never hit their head. They are repeatedly raped. So the trauma gives you brain damage. This is scientific fact, people. And So what happens is now we're giving people shit for being addicts or slutty or stupid or crazy later on in life, when if we knock that down, this is honestly why I got the UFC involved with Johns Hopkins with the psychedelic study and started to work on fighters, because this is my example where I go, look at, if I can fix these people, the most fucked up people in the world, they were pushed so hard and so far that now they climb into a cage in their underwear for a living and fuck people up for blood money. Okay, and then when they go in there, and just the person you have to be a fucking psycho to do that.
Yeah.
And me, at least, I had to be a fucking asshole. And then you go in there and you give and receive PTSD the whole time, and no one wants to talk about it or admit it. And people are finally starting to go, oh, dude, I never thought of that. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, shit. So the people are listening. And you know, so then it's not just brain damage. It's not just brain damage here. It's damage here. It's that trauma gets embedded in your tissue and becomes inflammation. Then inflammation will later on in life turn into cancer, ALS, anything like that. I mean, or that depression, the agoraphobia, the IBS, the whatever it is all tied back to inflammation, and it's all, and that is directly linked to trauma and to I mean, that's it. You know, and then with the brain damage, as far as the repeated blows to the head, if I can get in there and say if I'm going to work with an athlete that's, whether they're retired or not, doesn't matter. I give them the McCall method, big dose. It's my formulation of a few different mushrooms and also just an ingestion method, and hits them within like 13 minutes. I speed up the process. Nice. I can't let these veterans, like special forces guys, or I have some friends that are fucking debt collectors and hitmen and gangsters or fighters. These psychopaths, they come to me. I'm like, okay, I gotta fix all you guys. Wow, because they don't want to go to a shaman or something. These well, man, I light and love and energy people.
You want to go to ayahuasca ceremony in Peru?
I'm going to one in Mexico tomorrow.
There you go.
Actually, yeah. I think we start ingesting ayahuasca on Sunday. 3 ayahuasca ceremonies and then 1 big Mayan mushroom ceremony in a McCall.
Nice.
A little sweat lodge. So, and Tulum is a place that I resonate with extremely well because I'm 10% Native American. We don't know where, but I know my family went from Spain to Nuevo Leon, Mexico, and into that area. And I know there's some tribes in that lineage that it feels like I resonate a lot with that area. And I don't know. I don't know exactly. I'm trying to kind of maybe piece it together and figure it out eventually. But I love it down there, man. And to have a real Mayan ceremony. I don't look Mayan or anything. I'm a Viking. I'm the world's smallest Viking. That's what, But I just feel so connected with that area to go down there. And then I'm doing the whole ceremony, and then after I'm gonna go to Tulum and stay at a little yoga resort and try to just not have too much fun.
Yeah, you got to relax, man.
I need to integrate, and I need to not, be gross and be a pervert or party too much. One of my best friends lives down there. He's a DJ and a male model.
Oh boy,
so
that's
I'm like,
party
yo,
time.
buddy, don't have any deliveries made in my room, please. Women or drugs. But
yeah, man. You gotta take those reprieves every once in a while.
Yeah,
it's necessary to heal up and meditate. I tell people this all the time. The meditation is so important.
Huge, and that's the bane of my existence. That and sleep.
Yeah,
I'm so bad at meditation.
You know why? Because you want to keep doing stuff. Because that's the championship mentality. Like you feel that whatever time you're spending sitting there doing nothing, that it's not generating something. But you have to try and change the perspective from that to more of a I need to do this. The benefits that you reap from it are worth the progress you'll have. Yeah. In your daytime.
I've got tons of tools. You ever heard of Brain Tap?
No, what's that?
It's neurolinguistics programming. Dr. Porter, the guy or a company that I work with, and binaural beats in your ears, and they have little lights, LED lights in your ears, and then a visor that comes down and has lights in your eyes, and it is amazing for meditation. That will get me in the zone like that.
Shit.
But I try a lot of different modalities. I mean, that's my job, is to teach people different modalities. Like I'm big into Kundalini yoga. And I sit with my guru of sorts, is a guy named Suntantar Sarai, and he's a gong master. Mm-hmm. He trained with Yogi Bhajan, and he's a very legit person, and he's amazing. He helps me link, because I'm a martial artist at my core, and Kung Fu, which my base as a kid, comes from yoga. People don't know that. I could explain it, but I don't need to. So I try or I go sit in a float tank. Go sit in a float tank. Go sit in a float tank on ketamine. That's wild. But you know, just to get into meditative states, and I'm trying, man. I try so hard, but I'm fucking crazy. It's hard to be, you know, to be
silent.
In this space. Yeah, it's hard to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's hard to shut the fuck up. It's hard to just listen. It's hard to, and I think that podcasting, that's one of the reasons a lot of people are attracted to it.
Yeah.
The reason it's blowing up is that it gives you those moments where for you to have a guest, you just sit and listen to them, let them talk.
It's just a conversation.
Yeah. And it teaches everyone like that, hey, we need to be more civil and talk to each other instead of just yelling and screaming and throwing things. You know, like,
you see two adults debating about something, smiling at each other and saying, you know, I like that. Good. You know, like, I know I don't like that. No, it's simple. For me, I have to be moving to meditate. To get my best thought process done, I have to be shadowboxing or moving, doing something physical, like working really hard, because that's
maybe that's your way. That's your way.
That's been my way forever, and through fighting, through flow state, through that work ethic that like I have to push myself kind of inappropriately hard working out, because that's what I did my whole life, you know. But yeah, that's where I that's where I have my best breakthroughs. Like, but this is what I teach them, the McCall method. So the big dose to fix you as a person, because we're all broken children. Microdosing to get that epigenetic neurogenesis happening, and you know, you're being able to create the neural pathways and do everything more efficiently and just heal as a person better, and you can give and receive love and energy better and talk to people, and it's just a better life. But then for performance, I do something called the performance dose, which is anywhere from, let's say, about half a gram, or microdose is 0.1 to 0.2. I give them about half a gram to 2 grams, which, like, if I was to ever fight again, I would take 2 grams. Roughly. But like some fighters don't, you know, maybe they don't want to go that deep. So it's like, or surfing, or whatever athlete I'm working with at the time, or even motivational speakers or whatever. You know, I kind of have to sit with them, and we got to figure out, you know, it also comes down to weight and, you know, their diet and, you know, caloric intake and exactly how, just are they fasting? There's a lot of stuff involved. Right. But we know we can get there. It's just all new science and just stuff I'm just trying to figure out as we go.
Yeah, the way I try to explain it to certain people, it's a tool.
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't achieve these things sober. Yeah. You can. You just got to get there. And the best way to get there is with these tools that have been researched by scientists.
I'm like, psychedelics are not going to save your life. You're going to save your life, stupid. Yeah. Psychedelics are just going to show you what to fix and how to save it. You know, and just like meditation or yoga or whatever, they're all tools and they all work, and you need to do a bunch of them. The more you do, the better you'll be. And that's exactly what I did. A big part was neurolinguistics programming. It was, you know, what are the stories I'm telling myself and what are the stories I'm telling other people? And, you know, not to sit there, I'm such a fucking idiot. Oh, I'm such a piece of shit. Oh, I'm such a gross. So
Putting yourself down.
I don't do that.
Save that for the stage for when you're doing comedy.
Yeah. I was sitting there last night, you know, with the media company I work with, and we record in front of a camera, and Willie Mack and a few other people are there, and they were just like, no, dude, you're like barely over a year into this. Yeah. Like, you can be gross. You can be stupid. Your comedy's not that good yet. Like, this is what happens. People make this stuff funny first for a while, and then they can get better at everything else. It's just how it seems to work. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, rad. I can just, it was a really amazing, you know, few words. It's just simple shit. Or telling me, hey, why don't you tell the truth up there? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Oh, fuck.
You just go up there and tell the truth. Yeah. Why are you making up stories?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why? She's fucking, you know.
We can tell when you're making up stories, dude.
just me talking. I'm like, I am full of shit right now. Because I just catch myself like, it doesn't make sense. But then when I'm just talking and telling an honest story, because my stories are weird and wild, you know, and like I'm brutally honest. You know, like, about shit, and I'll, you know, like, I love saying that shit on stage. It's fun. Yeah. It's just to see people's reaction with certain things. They're like, what? I'm like, 100% honest. I promise.
So, what got you to want to do stand up? Like, is there anybody that you were looking at that you're like, I want to do what he's doing?
Robin Williams as a kid.
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams as a kid.
That dude looked like he was on cocaine all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. He was just running around.
Little red suspenders.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, and because I also wanted to be an actor as a kid. So I was in drama from middle school to college. Yeah, it was him. And I just started to figure that out. I couldn't remember. I got a lot of brain damage. But as a kid, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, a scientist, and then eventually a fighter when that was an option when I was 8 or 9 when I saw that. That took over everything. I was like, fuck all this stuff.
What was the first thing you saw at 8 or 9 that got you into fighting?
UFC, the very first one.
Okay.
I saw the very first one. I think it was live. I think I saw it live. And we had a black box as a kid. You know, so we always got all the illegal shit. And it was, yeah, that was a huge moment for me. But, you know, I always wanted to be, in one of those 3 things. And now I've accomplished all of them. You know, fighting's over. I'm happy it's over. I don't ever want to go back there again. And now I'm never going to be a scientist or a doctor. I get it. Like, I have to come to that realization because...
You got to do the 12 years in college to get the paperwork.
Colleges can give me one, I guess, but for the things I've accomplished. But, like, I don't care. I don't really want... I guess it would be cool to have it. but you know, now I can just focus on my day job in science. And healing and telling stories, because I can't even work for my own pharmaceutical company because I'm not a doctor or scientist. We run FDA trials and we do that sort of stuff. And once I realized I couldn't do what we plan to do, which is tell stories, do like a travel show, have a podcast, do all this stuff in the psychedelic community, and it just didn't work. And now I'm like, okay, well, I'm you know over that. And now I kind of pivoted and I looked into, you know, doing psychedelics in California as a company, building a brand. More or less, you're building marketing and advertising for something that's going to be legal or decriminalized next year.
Yeah. You're jumping in on something that's going to be what weed was back when it became,
yeah, exactly. And I'm one of 3 people at the top of the heap in psychedelics. Mike Tyson, and I don't like Mike. We don't get along. And then Daniel Garcia is the other one, and I own part of his company. I can't work for it. And there's me. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now I was like, I'm just going to build a psychedelic brand. And now I got a really good salary and equity offer from a company out of Canada. So my puppet show is sponsored by a company called Argos, which, you know, is I'm a paid advertiser for, obviously, with the show. I'm an educator for them.
Cool.
And they sponsored the puppet show. We just shot like 3 or 4 months worth of stuff. So I'm really excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's an adult show, obviously. But you know, the biggest impacts I can make in healing are through my education or through being a teacher. You know, because I can say things that doctors and scientists can't. You know, I can encourage people to, you know. Maybe not encourage, but at least open the door in their eyes to look. You can do psychedelics with younger people, with kids. People do that in native cultures, and I'm not saying I do it because I'm in California. I get fucking arrested. Yeah. I know everyone thinks I give my kid mushrooms, but I don't. But I was just talking to one of the biggest researchers in the world about it. I'm like, hey, people keep asking me about this, and what do you think? And he just reverberated my exact answer, which was, there's no mechanism in the brain that shows this would be detrimental to them. And it's only better. And I've met kids who have done ayahuasca at like 13. And they are the best kids ever. So smart and so woke, or whatever you want to put it. They're good people. Very good people. You know, and I can't knock it because these people keep talking to me about it. I had a comedian the other night, you know, she's asking me questions because she's pregnant, and she's like, yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, you can, you know. I
think that's where the concept of indigo children came from.
Yes, exactly,
you know?
Exactly. And you know, I've heard stories of women ingesting ayahuasca during birth.
Oof.
While giving fucking birth, dude. I was like, that's crazy.
I threw up with ayahuasca, so I'm not like looking forward to going back to that.
You know, I'm not
it's
either.
Fine. It was fun. I had fun with it.
Well, how long ago did you do it?
A few years ago. I 2006.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it was in Peru, and it was just bonkers. You know, it was just It felt like 2 weeks. It felt like 2 weeks, but apparently it was 2 days. And I was just like in a cave at one point, you know, just talking to some tree lady, which was fun.
The grandmother.
It was fun, but you know, it's fun after the fact for me. You know, during that time, I was like freaking out. Like I was trying. It was a journey. You know what I mean? I was driving in the rain at night with like broken glasses type of scenario. Like that's how I felt in there.
Oh, dude, my beginning was amazing. Because people trip there. You only done ayahuasca once? Like, how dare you? How do you teach about other things if you don't know about that? I'm like, relax, okay? I have reverence for everything in this world. So I took my time and I finally did it. And she eased me in because I was doing my initiation as a preacher for a plant medicine church called the Earth Temple. And, you know, I was going to go through their shamanistic training, but I'm not a shaman. I don't have time for that either. And I would just stuff I wanted to learn. But it was easy at first because, you know, we spoke. She came to me as a beautiful woman because I wasn't paying attention. I got hit in the face with an acorn. I got hit in the face with light while I was like a beam of light, and I was in the shade in a little path with trees all over it. Like it was she get my attention. Finally, she goes, "Okay, just get up. Let's go for a walk." We went down to the river. Saw my best friend who's dead. Died in my arms 5 or 6 years ago. And I was like, yo, check it out. What's up, dude? I haven't even talked in a while, you know? And it was beautiful. And then at night, I was like, cool. I talked about I was like, can I try and sleep with you? Is this like, I was being gross. I'm like, can I fuck ayahuasca? And I'm like, cool, I'm going to go on a date with ayahuasca tonight. This is going to be rad. Yeah. Where's she going to take me, you know? And then where does she bring me? Right to my dead best friend. She's like, you two need to talk. Fuck, dude. You know, because
that's childhood trauma.
I was blamed for his death. No, this is not childhood. This was just 6 years ago. And I was blamed for his death by our old shitty friends because former drug addict. He partied himself to death. But again, we were raising my child together. This they've said they're sorry, but people don't forget. But yeah, I sat there and I got in a fist fight with a dead heavyweight world champion in my sleeping bag. You know, these are not fun experiences to go through. No. And that's what I tell people. I go, look, I bring very dangerous individuals from this world to the next. I bring them to shaman, and they die. Or I do it myself sometimes. I'll facilitate, but rarely I'm not that person. But I take them safely to this world, and the next, they die, and I bring them home. You know? And just as a safety mechanism, as a safety barrier for them, so they feel it, you know? But these I've been through some of the most traumatic stuff in my life recently over the last 6 months, and because of what I do, how my brain works, I just shove it down in there and like underneath the anger shelf, right. And I work harder. You know, like I told you, I did 6 days of shooting in 2 days for my puppet show, and my body was like, "Fuck you! Oh my god, your brain's shutting off." And that's a week ago, and I've been a mess ever since. Like I'm trying to work, and I can't catch up. So I'm going to Mexico to have a long reset. I'm only staying for 12 days. I might stay longer, but I need it because I know if I don't deal with these issues, they're going to ruin everything else.
Yep, 100%.
Plain and simple.
That's how it is, man. I'm glad to hear that you are on that journey, on that path, because that is something that you need, and everybody needs, and nobody really realizes that. They just like work themselves dead, you know. And I feel like that sometimes with myself. I have to remind myself, like, hey, it's my weekend. Yeah, I'm not doing anything today. Like, one
of my favorite sayings is, "What's a weekend?" Yeah, you know, like, and that goes both ways. That goes for fun and for work.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's
partying on a Wednesday at a strip club. I'm like, sorry.
It's part of my job. Yes. Like, once you start justifying it as part of your
dude, I already have. I literally tell myself all the time, or my parents or whoever I'm hanging around, I'm like, hey, it's my job to go to Hollywood. I'm like, why are you going again? I'm like, because it's a comedy show. Are you performing? No. Like, why? I'm like, because I get to go hobnob with people like Jeff Ross and Eliza Schlesinger and my friends, and just meet these people and just be part of it, because I just want to be part of it. I want to just be a face in the scene. Like I know this is where I'm headed, so why not? I have the opportunity to go hang out with these people. Like, yeah, fucking why not? And again, I'm not over there like, hey, I'm a comic. Guess what? I'm a comic. Oh, usually, you know, it's like, no, I don't even fucking.
You got 2 minutes. Let me give you my tight 2 minutes.
Yes, I don't even talk about it. But it's because it'll happen later. But it's just like, you know, like I go to Hollywood, or go to Vegas, and just. Like, okay, I'm not even big into partying anymore. I'm just not. I'm 36 years old. You get over it. You know, I'm not even into, you know, I was a gross whore for most of my life. Like, to a point where you're like, dude, that's inappropriate. Like, stop it. And, you know, I just don't care anymore. Like, I'm you know, like, I have shit to do now. I can't fuck the rest of this up.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're finding that, man. I'm glad you're finding that. It's a rough journey to go through what you've gone through, man. Like, just hearing that story is fucking bonkers to me. Like, that's definitely something that you need this trip, because that kind of trauma is heavy to deal with, man. It's heavy to deal with. I have had that situation where, you know, I recently, last year actually, lost my best friend because he, you know, had a lot of issues. And you know, we used to party together. Like, and it was like a competition, you know, like, who's going to drink more tonight? Who's going to go off that extra step? Like, who's getting the Coke? Like,
yeah, right.
So like, it sucks because you feel that hit of like, was I responsible? I'm not, right? He's an adult. He makes choices, you know.
260-pound heavyweight world champion. And I looked at everybody. I'm like, you guys have all done just as much drugs as I have with him. Yeah. Like, that was, you know. And
well, when you're fighting, like, professional fighters and pro wrestlers are so hurt all the time, and the only solution is pills. Like, I need
football players too.
Yeah, football players. Anybody, hockey players, you know, smash into each other. Like, any real athlete is hurting all of the time. So, and when you're going town to town or doing multiple dates or whatever it is you're doing, the easiest thing to do is just throw back a couple ibuprofen or a couple, codeines. Whatever.
Wrestlers are gnarly. I almost married one of the original divas, and Ryan Shamrock.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ken Shamrock's sister in the show. And, you know, so I've spent a lot of time with people like X-Pac and, you know, a bunch of people. Sean's an amazing person. He's the nicest person ever. Literally. I love that man. But they are all so fucked up, physically and mentally, emotionally. They're all still on pills. They're all still on steroids for the most part. I mean, DDP, he's obviously helping change that. I love that man so much.
DDP, why?
He's been he's just been a good dude. He's just been a good dude to me, a good dude to everybody. He's an amazing person, you know. And thank God, because it's people like him. It's motivational for me. People like myself to try and show these people, like, look, I was the worst. I was the worst person and case and addict, and still being able to be this champion, whatever, or close to it, you know. And this doesn't matter. The gold. Like, now I'm finally trying to get my black belt in jiu-jitsu. Nice. After 23 years of doing jiu-jitsu, I'm still a purple belt. I'll walk into a gym and fuck up with a gi or without a gi a bunch of black belts. You know, and that's because I'm really good at it. You know, that's just what I do. But the trainer I keep going back to, Jiva Santana, will not give me my black belt until I do the work. Until I put a gi on and I do the right work and I turn back into a martial artist and not the psycho that I was. Which I have, you know. But, yeah, yeah, I went off on a tangent there, sorry.
Do you think that getting your black belt might motivate you to go back to fighting?
No, because I searched for gold. The reason why I put this black belt off, I have black belts and other things, but, like, why? Because I was searching for gold. I got obsessed with gold. And when I got the gold, it gave me nothing. It meant nothing. I don't even have the belt. It's at my fucking gym. I don't even care to have it. You know, it's like... The foundation of my life is martial arts. That black belt is a big pinnacle in that life, you know. So I'll get it eventually. I'm very busy, so I'm only get to train like twice a week right now, but it'll happen, you know. Especially once I move, I'm going through a breakup and all this shit. So I'm you know, I'll have my spot and I'll be able to, like, actually focus on it, have a better schedule.
So you're going through a breakup? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
That's why you're going to Mexico. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, and I've been being very, very good with my dieta, my diet for my ayahuasca, and I'm already fucking jacked, anyways. It's gonna be silly. I'm at a yoga retreat. It's gonna be so stupid. I'm just gonna sit on my shirt off all day and be like, "What's up? What's up, girls? What's up, ladies?"
Your legs behind your back.
Exactly.
Stretching.
And I've got a fucking mean yoga game. So I'm gonna try not to sleep around too much. But, you know, I need female affection. It's been a while. I don't know though.
That's nearly impossible after a breakup to go to Mexico and not sleep with somebody.
Yeah. And dude, I'm lucky. Yeah. Like, it's weird. Like, just the women that let me sleep with them. It's very nice. I'm very lucky, like very fucking lucky.
Well, you know, you're an athlete. You have an athlete's body. People, you know, women like to think that they're not shallow like men, but they are.
Yeah.
Everybody is. That's fine. We're all beasts. We're looking for, you know, we have certain needs. So.
Yeah, exactly. But it gets to a fucked up point where it's like, I'm like a toy. You know, especially back then when I was just a fucking awful person, I was like, they wouldn't talk about me, wouldn't tell anybody. But of course, you know, like, and now it's changing a little bit, but I still get looked at as like a toy most of the time. I mean, maybe it's because I'm 5 feet tall, but you know,
yeah.
And they're always Eastern. They're like tall Eastern or Central Europeans that I date and I love. So maybe that's why.
So you're into tall ladies?
I love tall women.
Ah, yeah. I get to like climb them.
Yes, and we are all the same height laying down, and it's just limbs, and I just like jiu-jitsu and arm locks, I guess. No, I used to work for a fashion design firm when I was like 20, 21. Always been into fashion, and I like tall women. I can't reach some shit. I still have to climb on the counter to reach the nice dishes. So like, I'm like,
can you get the
baby,
thing up there?
Can you reach that for me?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And you know, especially now, if I end up having more children, you know, wouldn't mind a heavyweight.
All right. I mean, has it always been, ever since you were young, tall? Because for me, it changed. Like I used to be into skinny girls and like model-esque. Yeah. And then I had my first kind of like thicker girl, and then everything changed. I'm like, oh wait, this is much better.
Rad. Yes. That's definitely changed. With age, you want more meat on the bones.
Yeah.
You know, and it's yeah, like this whole waist that's this big and a big ass now, but the rest of it is very skinny is great. That's what I'm into. I do like, you know, I'm a face man realistically. Like I can make your ass and tits bigger, but I just. I don't know. Yeah, I like him tall. I mean, but I've dated. I have the Ryan Shamrock. Her name's Alicia. She was short. She's like shorter than me. I think she's like one of maybe 2 women that are short that I've dated. So I don't discriminate. You know, I don't.
There's no discriminating here. No, this is all love.
Yeah, you know, I'm talking to my first black girl in a while.
Oh, okay.
I'm so excited.
That's good.
But you know, it's just
diversifying the portfolio.
Diversify the portfolio. Exactly. I'm tired of these dusty white bitches.
Oh man. Dude, I'm really glad and I'm really fortunate that I'm married. Like I really never. I used to be like you. Yeah. I would date. I was in a band.
Exactly.
I was a front man in a band, dude.
In a metal band.
I weighed 80 pounds less than I weigh right now. I'll tell you that much. I had a mohawk and everything, so it was great. But now that I'm married, I'm like, damn. You know, I see my buddies struggling during the pandemic with all these apps, and then I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm glad I'm all set, dude. Like I don't want to have to deal with any of that.
And I never wore condoms, and I don't have any STDs. I had the clap once. It was a long time ago. And
it was around.
It happens. But I don't have anything, and I'm like, fuck. Like, and I was with a woman that's a woman, you know, UCLA professor, scientist for 26 years. Very, you know, a powerful woman that was on TV selling her own skincare products. You know, she developed her own lab, like a full package type woman. And she made me really just go, okay, number 1, stop doing that, or at least wear condoms. Number 2, like she taught me how to really love someone and respect somebody, because you know I needed that. I looked at women as objects my whole life. Yeah, you know, just toys.
Well, if you don't get told otherwise, you know, if your parents are, or if your parents aren't teaching you this shit, it's hard to just come up, you know, figure it out. You know?
Well, they taught me well, but it was the rest of the world was like, yeah, you need to fuck everything. Check out this supermodel.
Sex sells, man.
Like,
sex sells, dude.
I tell people, I'm like, look, their pussies look exactly like your girlfriend's. I promise.
Yeah.
It's just attached to a bunch of the problems, and it's like, you know, I don't know. It's like I'm at a point in my life, my age, where I'm like, you know, kind of over it all. I haven't even had sex with anyone since I broke up with my girlfriend, my fiance. I just was like, no, I'm good. You know, like, and at those points, as you know, it's all of a sudden just starts raining hot bitches.
Yeah. That's when you stop caring.
Yeah, and
when you're chasing them down, they always run away. But if you don't want them around, then it's like, oh, okay.
I'm depressed in LA at my buddy's nightclub like this. And this girl goes, "Hey, what are you doing? I've been in love with you forever." I was like, "Shut up, please. Please
I just
go
want
away
to
right
be
now."
alone.
I'm actually drunk for the first time in like fucking a couple of years, and will you just not do this? We can talk later.
They romanticize it. It becomes like the Phantom of the Opera. They want to go after the sad, broken. I can fix you.
Oh no, I heard what happened. And I wanted to tell you, I'm here for you. I love you. I'm your friend. I'm like, yeah, I love you too. I'm your friend. And I've been in love with you forever. I was like, dude, this is so inappropriate. The fuck are you doing?
Not the right time.
Not the right time. Maybe later. Just hit me up in a few weeks.
That's one thing that I've noticed that fighters, people who have been in sport, as championship level, like yourself, you understand what discipline is, and and how to do
to a detriment.
To a detriment. Yeah. And a lot of people don't have that self-control when they're socializing. Yeah. I meet so many people. I'm grateful that I meet so many people through the podcast and we get to chill. But I see like the younger, or like somebody who's, oh, hey man, I love your band. Like, the Punishers, right?
Yes.
They have no self-control. Like they can't be cool. They can't be cool. But fighters, you have to learn that discipline from jiu-jitsu, from any martial art you learn that discipline to just be cool. Yeah, you can kill that guy. But chill out. Yeah, we get it.
You don't need to be screaming and yelling to do it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna waste your energy.
Yeah.
Like I see certain reactions of people when instances happen. Like someone threw a bottle. There's that big chill open mic in LA, and someone threw a bottle when everyone was performing and hit the fence or hit the street. And then the next week they threw 2 bottles.
Oh shit!
And actually almost hit somebody in the head with it. And when it hit the fence, everyone freaked out and like started to run over to look at everything. And I just like slowly got up and was like checking my surroundings. And I didn't know, but they were like watching me. Like, what's he gonna do? And I was just like calmly like, okay, do I have to fuck someone up right now? Like I don't want to have to do that, but like, I can. Yeah. That's the last thing I want to do is have to hurt anybody. I'm not violent anymore. I'm not even angry. I don't get angry. I don't yell. I don't like. I just go, okay, cool. Well. All right. I don't have a reaction to much. That's why I like the stage so much. Because it almost feels good not being that good. Or sucking or bombing especially. I get this, like, oh, man. It's
humbling.
And I finally feel something for once. It's humbling, it's ego death because I'm very egotistical. I can be. And that's, again, why I have to go back to the well with psychedelics a lot because, I need to kill myself that way.
Kill the ego, he means, not suicide.
Yes, not suicide. I'm talking about ego death.
That the other day I searched, I was looking for Kill Tony. I don't know if you're familiar with the show.
Yeah.
And I was typing in Instagram, kill, and it stopped at kill, and I got a pop-up from Instagram that was like, hey, we notice you're searching for the word kill.
Oh, jeez.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Click this button to get help now. I was like, I'm fine.
That's kind of cool, though. I like that.
It's cool, but like, I wasn't done typing.
Yes. I didn't
hit search. I was typing out Kill Tony and it stopped me at the kill word. I'm like, whoa, what? Let me finish typing. It was kind of weird. It made me question myself then. I'm like, wait a minute. Am I having dark thoughts?
Do I want to kill myself?
I may need to sit down and think about this. No, but it's important, I think, what you're doing for yourself. I think it's important what you're doing for the world to try and recover from certain things. Like we're living in a time now where there's a lot of stuff happening where people that have gotten canceled are coming back, and then like they're not giving them a shot, and I guess some of them rightfully so, whatever, and maybe I don't know. I really don't know. I don't spend time looking at these things. Like I just see it happening, but people need a chance to come back. Like
everyone deserves a second chance. Sure,
I know that it sounds like we're justifying people's actions, but like people deserve a second chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Isn't that the whole Jesus thing?
Yeah.
Forgiving.
I mean, there's obviously a limit to certain things, like you're out fucking kids. Like, I
don't think anybody's forgiving Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Like, obviously like there's very apparent things, but the other people, give them a chance. Give them a chance, why not? That's exactly what we have to do to everybody. We can't be killing, we can't be, getting rid of these people anymore. It's not doing us any good. It's making us bad.
Yeah.
It's doing us harm.
I've changed as a person at least 4 or 5 times in my lifetime, completely. Like not the same person where I look at pictures and I'm like, who was that?
Yeah.
That's not me.
I don't know that person.
No. So it's you got to keep that in mind. And I think psychedelics and that kind of journey can help you if you're doing it under controlled situations. Like that's why I'm all about legalizing the microdosing and all of that. Like I want that to happen. I don't know if people should be just having like heroic doses every day.
It's true.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't be doing that. But you know, control. That's what happened with weed. Like once weed got recreational and they started like measuring stuff out for me. Yeah, because I would just grab whatever weed I had and roll it up and smoke it. Now they're like, here, you take this much, and that'll get you through your day productively. If you take more than that, you may have to sleep.
They actually tell you that?
Yeah. Well, for me anyway. Like my friends give me shit.
Oh, your friends? I thought you meant like actual.
Well, they work at dispensaries, and so they'll be like, "Look, you."
I haven't been in a dispensary for. I work in cannabis. Or I should say, I used to work in cannabis.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I had buddies that would just tell me like, you need about 25 milligrams, and that'll get you at a point where I can still function, and I'm not like looking for food and sleep. Yeah. Otherwise, if I go past that point, then I'm just having a weekend. You know what I mean? I'm taking some time off.
Yeah, it's the same way. Like I use RSO to sleep, like when I sleep.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a lot of benefits to it, and it just knocks you out. But if I break 50 to 60 milligrams, I'll be groggy for the next like day.
Yeah.
You know, if I get into like 100, I just use the whole little squirter thing. Then yeah, it's not. It's you know, you have to learn how not to take too much. I mean, yeah. I've been a bad example of that most of the time, but you know, it's still we're putting in the work. You know,
you got to put in the work, man. That's what matters. But hey, I feel that you know I had some bad experiences on psychedelics that almost made me stop completely doing it forever. You know, but it's all about moderation. It's all about moderation and
setting an intention.
Yeah, and making sure you know yourself. Like, for example, I know how much I need to function. But some people go overboard, and they're having a bad trip or whatever it may be, and you just got to find that number for yourself. And that goes for everything. Beers, you know. Like I tell people, I get it if you're sober, you're not drinking beer. I get it. In California sober, or whatever they call it. Yes. I get it.
California sober.
Fine, don't drink. However, you're missing out on some very delicious beverages that you can control drink. Don't drink a six-pack. You know, have 2 beers that are nice, quality beers, craft, local, independent brewery, and just have those. And then that you had a nice weekend, you're mellowed out. If you have 10 beers that they're all at 9%, you know, have natty ices or whatever it is, you're gonna go rob a bank. You know what I mean? Like that's just happening.
You're gonna think it's a good idea to get in your car and drive.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I've never been a big drinker. Like I just said, I just got drunk for the first time. I mean, granted, I got drunk for 4 days, but I was sad. But
it's good when you're sad, and I know that's rough. A lot of people don't like to hear that.
It's a depressant, and as someone who preaches don't drink and healing, sometimes you just gotta do shit. Okay, so get off my back.
No, I'll tell you, if you have the right mentality. Because I have good associations with alcohol. That's the problem. People have negative associations with it. I have positive ones. Whenever I drank with my friends, those are some of the best times, thankfully. Now, the point is you have to make sure that you're going into... If you don't have a positive association, don't do it.
Yeah, bad idea.
Just go away. Back away from it. That's fine. Good for you. Smoke weed. You know what I mean?
Pick a different poison.
Yeah.
You know, because other things you're going to pick are not poison. Alcohol is an actual poison.
Yeah.
It's not good for you. And people are like, oh, really? I'm like, dude, you start detoxing the next day. You start withdrawing the next day from it. Yeah. And just think how gnarly that is. It's not good for you. I mean, and sure, it's delicious. My mom used to work for Robert Mondavi Wine. She used to cook. She's a chef. She used to cook for Robert himself, or at his event center up in Costa Mesa area. And you know, so I was always around wine. Very, very good wine. I love wine, you know. But I know that I'm just like, I just want like half a glass.
Yeah.
That's it. You know?
Yeah, just a little taste.
Yeah.
Just a little taste.
We're good.
Yeah. Well, shit, man. We're almost at an hour, so I'm going to cut it now, but I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me here.
All the way down here.
Yeah, no, I like having intellectual conversations with people that have similar experiences to my own. Yeah. Because sometimes I'll talk to people and I'll be like, oh, and this happened, and they're like, no. What? You should seek help? Like, oh, damn. All right. So no, I appreciate that. You know, I love meeting people that are on a journey that it inspires me to continue my own. And
Hi, Dad.
thank you for your time. Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. You're on camera, by the way. I need to tell you legally. It's cool. I don't mind. I'm just saying. I don't want to get sued later.
He's like, you're in the way of my cigar.
Yeah, you're in the way of my cigar. Get away. That's great.
When other people smoking.
All right. But yeah, man, thank you so much for everything you're doing. Everybody that is watching and listening, where do they find all your stuff?
If you have HBO, go on HBO Real Sports, and you'll see a thing about psychedelics. It was myself, Daniel Garcia, Dean Lister. We do the world's first mushroom ceremony on camera.
Nice.
And they have a lot more footage. They only showed a little bit of it, but it's an amazing docuseries. For myself, Uncle Creepy MMA is my social. The McCall Method is my business. That's on social as well. TheMcCallMethod.com. If you need help, you want psychedelic integration, hit me up on either one. I check the messages that your other messages that you don't see. I check that because I have people hit me up all the time, almost a few times a week for sure. Sometimes it's daily, with their issues, with their problems, with hey, I'm an addict and this and I have brain damage or whatever it is. So I'll be messaging you back if you write me. Okay. So I love you guys. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.